Hi, my name is Alexander Armstead, and this is my presentation about the Diamond DA40, which is the aircraft that I'm flying. It is a 2008, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember exactly, but it is a Diamond DA40. It has a Lycoming IO 360 with 180 horsepower with a constant speed propeller. It is fixed gear, so it doesn't retract or extend. The performance altitude obviously depends on your headwind, tailwind, but the typical numbers are about 127 knots, and it has about a range from doing the basic math that I did about 780 to 880 knots. And the ceiling that I know that it is rated for is 16,400. It is also a four-seat trainer, so you can have about four people in there with you, including you, your instructor, or, if you do pass your PPL, you can bring passengers with you as long as you're within the weight and balance. And luckily enough, this aircraft is equipped with the G1000 navigational system. It is a fuel injected. It is a constant speed prop, which means it is mounted directly to the engine, and you do have a power pitch controller to control your RPM, so you're not overspeeding the issues. And so some of the risk with that is that you can get engine power loss, or engine power loss. Obviously, that's bad in any scenario, but you also have a prop governor failure. So obviously, it's if you want to make sure when you're doing your run up and your fuel mixture settings that it is proper. It does have it's a 28 volt DC system. It is 70 amp alternator with a 24 volt battery, and powers the avionics, your lights, your fuel pumps, all of your GPS systems. It does have three main buses. It has your main bus, which is consisted of two systems, and your ESS bus, which is your emergency system. And so the thing is, the good thing about with the DA40 is that if you do suffer electrical loss, the engine is separate and it'll constantly keep moving because it has an electrical magneto and a mechanical. And the version that I am flying, it is the ER version, so it has a 50-gallon tank. So when I'm getting set up, it says 50 after we, top the tanks off, but you don't get complete full. So what we do is we like to take off about 2 gallons on there, and also provides you a little room for any kind of error if there happens to be any error. It does have a fuel selector, so when you have to maintain the balance of it, you can't go any more than 8 gallons per side. So, and on the G1000, it actually tells you, it has it on advisory that'll tell you that you need to switch tanks. So it's fuel pump on, make sure your pressures are good, switch tanks, make sure pressures are still good, then it's off. And then you can continue doing what you're doing. Obviously, your power plant depends on fuel. It's 100 low lead for this, which I dealt with when I was on the Predator, and it's pretty remarkable, pretty good system. It does depend on the battery, obviously, to turn your alternator, and it is pretty awesome. As I said earlier, it does not depend on the engine does not depend on yourself. So your pre-flights are obviously made report. You can find all of your issues and everything like that. You just want to make sure that everything is in correct order as it should be, because at the end of the day, you are the PIC. You are responsible for that aircraft. As I did have some up here for the troubleshooting and emergency conversations, but I actually did have an emergency the other day, last week I think it was. As I was coming in for landing, I had no brakes, absolutely no brakes whatsoever. So what happened is when I pressed on the rudder pedals, I got a little bit of brake pressure. It was good to go. And when I pressed again, the cradle, the bottom side of the brake cradle broke. So now I had no player or no pivot point to actually hit my brakes. Luckily, I've been working on aircraft for about 20 years, and I've built race cars throughout the years and everything, and I've had issues where I haven't had brakes. So just training with my instructors, I just did aerodynamic braking, so it was flaps all the way up, and I just kept kept the flight controls fully back so it can help the air and help me stop. And I actually ended up stopping all the way at the very last taxiway. I had to let Tower know that I was having an issue, and luckily for me, I looked over and realized on the co-pilot side that the brakes were still good. They were intact. So I actually shut the aircraft off on the runway, hopped out, got into the co-pilot side, let Tower know that they do not need to send anybody, and I actually taxied it all the way back to the maintenance hangar, and I let maintenance know what happened. I'm a maintenance guy as well. Like I was saying, I've been working on aircraft for about 20 years, so I knew that they didn't want to tell it, so I actually brought it to them. So, but with that, for a loss of brakes, there really isn't, emergency procedures. Luckily for me, I actually planted the aircraft because I was working on a short field landing, and that's luckily for me. And so the fact that I actually planted the aircraft and got it down pretty quickly at the very end of the runway there, aiming for a point, I actually was able to have the runway that was long enough. And I was actually on the shorter one, the North Las Vegas. It's about 5,300 feet, and on 1-2 left, it's about 3,400 feet. So I was very fortunate. For the biblical integration, I chose, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as we're working for the Lord. Diligent is in systems knowledge. Like, I have the experience of working on aircraft, so I kind of just knew what I needed to do to try to get that aircraft to stop. Being responsible for yourself and for others, it's just being safe, making sure everybody gets home safely. That's flying is fun. You want to be able to keep doing it. So, being safe is the most important thing you can do. And prepare, prepare, prepare. Always be prepared. That saying, it's like measure twice, cut once. I actually measure more just to make sure that I have the correct numbers. And so, I do like the DA40 because it is very modern, and it took me a while to get used to the landings, and finally it just kind of clicked. So I'm really enjoying it now and not getting so frustrated as I was. So the major important thing is I need to work on my navigation and get used to that. But just be prepared, pay attention to what you need to do, and everything will be okay. All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.